Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. If I'm don't see myself today, it's because I've had no sleep. Since Friday, I think I've had a combined total of maybe 8 hours of sleep and didn't get any last night. Been out all night on calls. And the thing is it's not uncommon for us to get just slammed day after day, multiple times a day calls, even though we're a rural department. But every single one of these were serious calls. Several very, very serious traumas. Several big medical calls. A very lengthy search and rescue, water rescue call. It's crazy. So I'm a little exhausted, and I haven't had enough caffeine. I think I've had 1 cup of coffee this morning. I need some more. It's going to be a long day. My whole body's starting to wear on me. So anyways, I did notice in the news that the president is requesting defense spending for Taiwan to be increased to about $30 billion. Now, this is something that, China has been pretty vocal here lately about us leaving Taiwan alone, that Taiwan is theirs, that there is no force on this planet capable of keeping Taiwan from the from China, all this kind of stuff. And with tensions rising constantly in the Middle East, where it is East versus West, and Russia, where it's East versus West, and the United States is now threatening China and India with very harsh tariffs if they continue buying oil from Russia, and China gets a ton of oil from Russia. So the tensions are rising. Also, the Pentagon, or the Congress, has passed a bill. It hasn't become law yet, but Congress has passed a bill that would force the Pentagon to not refer to, on any of their maps or any of their documentation, to not refer to Taiwan as part of China. So even though technically we still are under the one China policy, it's looking more and more obvious that we are not. And then also, was it a week or so ago, it was in the news that the United States has contacted Japan and Australia to see where they stand on the matter and how ready they are to defend Taiwan against China and to help the United States. So, we've got all of this conflict just boiling all over the place. We've got insane distractions here in the United States. We've got the whole Obama Russia Gate thing is really that's been pushed now. And hey, if there, I don't doubt it. I'm sure that Obama and Clinton and Biden and all of them were doing bad things, and go after them. But it's being used to distract again away from the Epstein files, which will never see the light of day, and a huge cover up, and it's overtly obvious that the Trump administration wants people to stop talking about it, to ignore it. Very obvious. And so that stuff's happening domestically. Prices are going up, but then we've got these wars that are happening that, I believe are being done to try to drain the United States, and to try to, number one, give China some space and some time to build up its military, but also test some of it. Some of this stuff, it may not be directly Chinese missiles and stuff, but a lot of the technology, a lot of these drones that are being built in Russia and built in Iran, they're Chinese technology. And so they're able to test some of their stuff. And then also learn tactics, even though maybe China themselves are not directly fighting Israel and the United States and all that kind of stuff, they are seeing how the newest tactics will be done. And so I think that's what a lot of this is. Yes, these proxy wars that, are meant to just kind of drain each other. And honestly, I don't think it's draining Russia quite as bad as what a lot of people originally thought and may still think. When you really start to look at it, yeah, Russia's taken on some heavy casualties, but I've said it so many times that that's normal for Russia. Do your history, do a little research. Russia always has heavy casualties when it's in war, always, for hundreds of years. That's a normal tactic for them. That means nothing. If we lost 1 million people in battle in a war, this country would nearly fall apart. Like, people would be, tearing buildings down, rioting to get it stopped. But in Russia, it's fine. And Russia's their economy is handling the sanctions and everything pretty well. In fact, their, GDP and a lot of other indicators showing that they're doing better than we are in a lot of ways. And so we're watching this continual buildup between the East and the West. It was the other day that China said that they're not trying to take over the world. They're not trying to, be the ruler or anything, but they're trying to basically, they didn't say the United States, but stop the United States from, being the dominant force, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what they said. And that's something that we've known all along. And what's so weird about it is a lot of the policies that are being put into place, a lot of the surveillance type stuff and AI technologies here in the United States are being done to not counteract China, but to do it better than China. We're told that there's this big technological race and that China's kind of a little ahead of us. And they're building AI and surveillance and all this kind of infrastructure way better and way faster than us. And we got to catch up. It's like, why do we have to outdo them when it comes to surveillance? Just because they have a social credit system doesn't mean we need that. But that's what's coming. That's the kind of stuff that's being built. And so there's a physical, conventional type of war that is developing and being built, and someday it's going to happen. I mean, if it happens in 6 months or 6 years, or within the next decade, it's going to happen. It's almost at this point an inevitability. But then there's also it's kind of the technological war and the behind the scenes war that's going on. And that's happening too. And we're watching, like I've said many times, we're watching another cycle of the world powers fighting for dominance. This happens every 80 to 100 years, and we're now watching again. But it's bigger now, and it seems to be that there's more at stake, and because it's not just who's going to dominate the world, it's who's going to dominate the world through the reset, through the new world order reset, and further Agenda 2030 and all of that kind of stuff. And so that's what we're seeing this fight. And also, very possibly, the bringing in of the beast system. I mean, that's what we're seeing being developed around us with all the technology that's being used. So remember, while there's all this distraction, all this chaos going on, it's the most comical, scripted psyop I've ever seen. I think that's, for me, the case. I don't know how people can't see that the stuff that's going on social media and the White House, Washington, D.C., all this kind of stuff, how they can't see that it's not just a poorly written and poorly acted out psyop. But nevertheless, it's happening. And so we need to pray for discernment and see through this stuff, because some of it's going to fire up your emotions and you're going to be like, yeah, Barack Obama, he did a lot of bad things. And I'm not opposed to seeing the guy go to jail. But the reality is it's probably not going to happen. Be doubtful to see any serious, meaningful arrests or charges. It's just a script being played out. And it's just to distract you from a lot of things. Epstein's one of them. The continual buildup of war is one of them. The continual buildup of the AI takeover is another one, and probably several other things too. So don't get too caught up in it, because yeah, it's all a big game that they're playing. But yeah, we're rattling some sabers with China. And, you know, at some point, China, and even our own military, our own Pentagon reports indicate this, that at some point China is going to say enough is enough, and they're going to make their move. They've been pretty regularly increasing the amount of patrols around Taiwan and the threats to Taiwan. And so at some point, it's not going to be an exercise or patrol. It's going to be the real thing, and then we're going to be caught up in it. And it's gonna change a lot of things. It's gonna be a big one. And so you should probably be getting ready for that, folks. Get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.